Hi guys! Today we will be talking about regulation, or more specifically, transport within the circulatory system. There are two types of circulatory systems, open and closed. Arthropods have open circulatory systems, which means the blood is pumped by the heart into the body cavities, where the tissues are surrounded by blood. Vertebrates, on the other hand, have closed circulatory systems. This is where the blood circulation is always enclosed within vessels of different sizes, rather than into the body cavity. In this lesson, we are only going to focus on the specifics of the closed circulatory system. At first, the closed circulatory system consisted of a two-chamber heart with only one circuit, identical to that of modern fish. In this system, gas exchange with the cells and the environment occur on the same circuit. On the same note, the heart only needs two chambers as it pumps blood in one direction. Over time, this heart evolved into one with three chambers and two circuits, like the ones amphibians have. These two circuits are primarily classified as pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. The former refers to blood that leaves the heart and travels to the lungs to be oxygenated. The latter refers to the oxygenated blood that provides the rest of the body with necessary oxygen. With two routes that blood can take through the body, the heart needed more chambers to regulate blood flow into these two circuits. The three-chamber circulatory system was able to meet that requirement, but was inefficient in that the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood would mix in the single ventricle of the heart. Eventually, the heart evolved to have four chambers and two circuits, like that of humans, birds, and mammals. This allowed for more efficient transport of oxygen, as well as better regulation of blood pressure to the lungs and to the rest of the body. Interestingly enough, some reptiles, like crocodiles and alligators, can cut off blood circulation to their lungs when underwater to even further maximize efficiency and rate of blood flow. Now let's discuss blood. The two main components of blood are plasma and formed elements. 50 to 60% of blood is plasma, and plasma is composed of about 92% water. The formed elements are composed of red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Blood has multiple functions, each of which corresponds to the various components of blood. Blood is able to regulate body temperature due to the high specific heat of water that makes up the plasma. The water in the plasma also allows nutrients and wastes to dissolve and be carried through the body in the blood. Red blood cells have hemoglobin, which can hold up to 4 oxygen molecules, and this allows for blood to carry oxygen throughout the body. However, it is important to note that each red blood cell does not necessarily have to release all 4 oxygen molecules as it passes through the systemic circuit. The white blood cells defend the body against pathogens with non-specific defenses such as macrophages and neutrophils, and specific defenses such as lymphocytes, B cells, and T cells. Platelets in the blood allow for clotting to occur. As you can see, the various components of blood all contribute to the many functions of blood. Since humans have closed circulatory systems, the blood is constantly enclosed within various vessels. These vessels are generally classified as arteries, capillaries, or veins. Arteries are round and can expand or contract. Arteries generally have thicker and more elastic vessel walls, and they carry fully oxygenated blood away from the heart, which means that they are normally high-pressure vessels. Capillary walls are only one cell thick to accommodate gas exchange. Veins are flat and flimsy, but are best differentiated from the other vessels for their one-way valves that carry low-pressure deoxygenated blood back to the heart. There are also vessels called arterioles and venules, which are just terms for vessels that connect arteries and veins to the capillaries. The systemic circuit order, or the order in which blood is carried away from the heart, around the body, and back to the heart, starts from the arteries, goes through the arterioles, capillaries, venules, and eventually the veins, where the blood is returned to the heart. Now let's elaborate on the process in which the blood is circulated through the heart. Deoxygenated blood from the lower body enters the heart through the inferior vena cava, and blood from the upper body enters through the superior vena cava. These veins converge at the right atrium. As the right atrium contracts, the blood passes through the tricuspid valve and into the right ventricle. When the ventricle contracts, the blood is pushed through the pulmonary valve into the pulmonary trunk and artery, which carries the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The oxygen in the lungs binds to the hemoglobin in red blood cells, and the blood returns to the left atrium through the pulmonary vein. As the left atrium contracts, the fully oxygenated blood then passes through the mitral valve and fills the left ventricle. When the left ventricle contracts, the blood is pushed through the aortic valve to the aorta, where the blood is then pumped to various parts of the body. After exhausting its supply of oxygen, the blood returns through the vena cava and the cycle continues. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this outline of the circulatory system helps.